Hello and good morning to all my dear viewers. To proceed with the topic of class 9 geography portion of climate chapter that I have been dealing in my previous videos through, now we have come to the last part of the chapter where we are dealing with different seasons which we follow in India, which occur in India. So, everybody look here, different seasons, we have 4 seasons. We call them cold weather season, which is the winter season, the hot weather season, which is the summer season, advancing monsoon season, which is the coming of the monsoon, and retreating monsoon, when the monsoon is going back. So, these are the 4 different types of seasons that are there in India. And why do that occur? Because of the revolution of the earth around the sun. Always remember this diagram when we are talking about seasons or the change of the heat belt. So, when we are talking about this, you must remember that in the month of March, the sun rays fall directly on the equator. These positions are, you take it like this. Okay. So, here the sun rays are falling directly on the equator, and here also the sun rays are falling directly on the equator. This means the heat is equally distributed from the equator towards the polar areas, means gradually becoming less with the curve of the globe. When the earth is in December position, the northern pole area is away from the sun, which means that receives very less amount of heat and light from the sun. So, the northern hemisphere experiences winters and India is in the northern hemisphere. So, at the time of December month, we experience winter. Also the distance, because it is an elliptical path, so distance from the sun becomes more, as well as second important reason is that the earth is tilted towards the northern hemisphere and the sun rays is falling directly on the southern hemisphere. So, southern hemisphere is having summers, northern hemisphere is having winters. Now, from December earth moves till March, and these are December, January, February. By after February till March, the sun rays shifts from the southern hemisphere to the equator. Now, equator when it is falling, our summers start, because from here the heat belt will shift from the equator towards the northern hemisphere, and India being in the northern hemisphere receives the direct heat of the sun. So, by the time the earth reaches the month of June in this position, what happens that the heat of the sun shifts towards the northern hemisphere, and then we receive the summer. So, by the month of June, that is the peak of summers in India. Then from here, from June again what happens, up till September the heat belt shifts from the northern hemisphere to the equator. When it shifts to the equator, by the time it shifts, it comes the month of September, and during this time what happens that the monsoons arrive. So, this is the season of the advancing monsoon. The monsoon comes towards India, and then from September the earth becomes colder and also the heat belt shifts towards the northern hemisphere. So, what happens? The monsoon starts going back. Okay. So, these are that is how the 4 seasons are occurring in India. Hope you have understood this nicely. Now, I will explain you what are the characteristics of each of the seasons. Now, understand what are the characteristics of the cold weather season. Cold weather season starts in India from mid-November till February, and December and January are the coldest months, especially in the northern India. When we talk about any of the seasons, you should understand that India is a country where the southern part of India is having an influence of the oceans. The oceans are giving it a cool breeze, and the sea breeze and the land breeze, it modifies the temperature of those places. So, actually the extremities, the intensities of the cold weather season or the hot weather season, summer or the winter season, is hardly felt in these areas. They usually have a normal temperature of 24 to 25 degree Celsius with very little variations. So, when we talk about the cold weather season or the hot weather season, you should understand that these seasons are particularly in the northern part of the country, which is a landlocked area which is away from the influence of the oceans. So, temperature decreases from south to north. As soon as we go from south to north, the temperature becomes colder. North India temperature remains 10 degree to 15 degree. If we move ahead from the Ganga plains towards the Himalayan sides, we find that the temperature really goes down, and it also goes down to minus 45 degrees in a place called Dras in Ladakh. Frost is common in northern India and snow falls in the Himalayas. South India, the eastern coast, especially the Tamil Nadu coastal area, there the temperature remains 24 to 25 degrees. So, that is a exact data for the Tamil Nadu coast, but all the coastal areas have the same type of temperature during the winter season as well. Winds, the winds, look here in this small diagram in this corner, you will find that the trade winds blow, which means the winds which are blowing are from the Tropic of Cancer towards the equator, Tropic of Capricorn towards the equator, because equator is a low pressure area, because here the temperature is hot. Therefore, the winds during the winter season, when the earth is here, this also must borne in your mind that the earth's position while revolution is such where the southern hemisphere is receiving the direct rays of the sun. So, the trade winds which are blowing in India are from land to sea. You can see here, children. So, these are called the trade winds, which are planetary winds which blow over the planet throughout the year always, but due to some changes they may change the direction, change in the temperature. So, here the winds are blowing from the land to the sea, and hence it is a dry season. You must have noticed that during the winters we need so much of moisturizers, isn't it, on our skin to put, because it becomes chapped, it starts drying, our lips becomes chapped. That is why it is a dry season, because the winds are blowing from the land to the sea. When the winds blow from land to sea, they do not have any kind of a moisture, they are dry winds, and hence this winter season is dry, but some amount of rainfall is observed in the coastal area of Tamil Nadu, where the temperature you have found is 24 to 25 degree due to eastern cyclonic disturbances, and some amount of rainfall is also experienced in the months of December, January in the northwestern part of India, which receives rainfall from the western cyclonic disturbances, which is important for the rabi crops, that rainfall during the winters. So, these are the exceptions and these are the characteristics of the cold weather season. Now, I will explain you what are the important terms which are related to this season, winter season, and then we will proceed towards the next season, which is the hot weather season. Continuing, seventh important characteristics is that the winter rainfall, which is called as Mahavat locally. The rainfall which occurs during the winter season in the northwestern part of India is known as Mahavat, although the winter is very less, although the rainfall is very less. Then this season, this winter season is marked with clear skies, which means cloudless sky, low temperatures, low humidity, humidity is low, that is why it is a dry season, and feeble variable winds. The winds come and go and they are light, feeble means light winds, especially in the northern India. Peninsular India, when we talk about the southern part of India, the coastal regions, we find that due to the moderating influence from the sea, the winters are not well defined. So, this is the explanation for the cold weather season, and I will deal with the explanation on the hot weather season, which is the summer season, in my next video. So, hope you understand, and thanks for watching, and do like, share and comment in my comment box. Bye for now.